Now, this fan stated he didn't just call her a bleep, he also stated he hopes she falls and break her neck, that he did have media credentials around his neck. So right now, we don't know if he still have those, but man, this is a tough time.
Did you hear? A fan with media credentials threatened Caitlin Clark during a game. How did this happen? And why was Teresa Weatherspoon fired right after defending her players? Something's not right in the WNBA, and we need to talk about it. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Guys, the WNBA is looking like a mess right now. We've got fans threatening players, coaches getting fired, and it feels like nobody's safe. Can you believe a person with media access could just walk up and threaten Caitlin Clark? That's insane. And then, Teresa Weatherspoon, a legend in the game, gets fired by the Chicago Sky. What's going on?
Caitlin Clark and the Connecticut Sun fan has been leaked, and none other than Teresa Weatherspoon is the latest coach to lose their job.
The league is tense and players are on edge. It's not just about the games anymore. It's about safety and respect. Are the players really protected out there? We're going to dig into why this is happening and what it means for women's basketball. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. The future of the WNBA might depend on it. You know how we always think the players on the court are safe, protected by security and the league? Well, buckle up, because what happened to Caitlin Clark is going to blow your mind. The WNBA's player safety problem just hit a new low. When Caitlin Clark had to report a threatening fan herself, it revealed a shocking truth about who's really looking out for these athletes. And trust me, it's not who you'd expect. Picture this. It's the first quarter of a game against the Connecticut Sun. Caitlin Clark is doing her thing, lighting up the court. But then, out of nowhere, some guy starts yelling at her. Not just your typical heckling, but serious threats. We're talking, "I hope you fall and break your neck" kind of stuff. Scary, right?
Now, this fan stated he didn't just call her a bleep, he also stated he hopes she falls and break her neck.
Forthwith in the front row and pointing it out to the officials. And now the officials calling on security.
But here's the kicker. This wasn't just some random fan who snuck into the good seats. This guy had media credentials. That means he had special access to the court and the players. How does that even happen? It's like giving a fox a VIP pass to the hen house. So what does Caitlin do? Does she have a team of bodyguards rush in to protect her? Nope. She has to stop what she's doing and alert security herself. Can you imagine trying to focus on your game while also playing security guard? It's insane. This whole situation is a massive wake-up call for the WNBA. If someone with media access can threaten a star player like Caitlin Clark, what does that mean for everyone else? It's not just about one bad apple anymore. This is exposing some serious cracks in how the league protects its players. And you know what's even crazier? Caitlin's response to all this. She said, "It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and execute on offense." Like, is she for real? This kind of threat is so normalized that she's just shrugging it off. That's not okay. Let's be real for a second. If this can happen to Caitlin Clark, one of the biggest names in women's basketball right now, it can happen to anyone. And that's terrifying. The WNBA needs to step up its game when it comes to player safety. We're not talking about protecting them from a stray ball or a rough play. We're talking about protecting them from actual threats to their well-being. This incident is shining a spotlight on a much bigger problem in the WNBA. It's not just about one game or one player, it's about the culture of the league and how they handle these situations. Are they really doing enough to keep their players safe? Because from where we're sitting, it doesn't look like it. Think about it.
That he did have media credentials around his neck. So right now, We don't know if he still had those, but man, this is a tough time.
If you were a player, would you feel safe knowing that someone with media access could threaten you without any immediate consequences? Would you be okay with having to be your own security guard while trying to play at the top of your game? It's a lot to ask of these athletes. The reaction from the league and other players is telling. This isn't just business as usual. People are waking up to the fact that something needs to change. The WNBA can't just sweep this under the rug and hope it goes away. They need to take a hard look at their policies and how they're enforced. Just when you thought things couldn't get more intense, the WNBA threw us another curveball. Teresa Weatherspoon, a respected coach, stood by her player after a controversial foul. But was that show of loyalty about to cost her everything? Let's talk about what went down between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever. Chennedy Carter committed a flagrant foul against Caitlin Clark. Now, this wasn't just any old foul. It was bad enough to catch everyone's attention. The WNBA even stepped in after the game and upgraded it to a flagrant 1. That's the league saying, hey, we're not okay with this kind of play. So what did Teresa Weatherspoon do? She defended Carter. She called it a learning moment and said Carter got caught up in the heat of the game. Weatherspoon even said, "She and I have discussed what happened and that it was not appropriate, nor is it what we do or who we are." That's a coach standing by her player, right? But here's where things get wild. Shortly after all this went down, Teresa Weatherspoon got fired as head coach of the Chicago Sky. Just like that, she's out.
So she put out this tweet right before the news came out that Teresa Weatherspoon was actually fired from the Chicago Sky.
Now, you might be thinking, wait, what? She got fired for defending her player. And honestly, that's what a lot of people are wondering. The timing of Weatherspoon's firing is raising some serious eyebrows. It happened right after she defended Carter, and the league upgraded the foul. Is this just a coincidence? Or is there something deeper going on here? Think about it. Weatherspoon is a legend in women's basketball. She's not some rookie coach who doesn't know what she's doing. So why fire her now? It's got people questioning what's really going on behind the scenes in the WNBA. And let's not forget about Carter's reaction after the game. When reporters tried to ask her about the incident with Clark, she straight up said, "I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions." That's not exactly taking responsibility, is it? It makes you wonder how much control coaches really have over their players. This whole situation is shining a light on some big issues in the WNBA. It's not just about one foul or one coach getting fired. It's about how the league handles player conduct, how they support their coaches, and what kind of culture they're creating. Are coaches supposed to defend their players no matter what? Or should they always side with the league? It's a tough spot to be in, and it looks like Weatherspoon might have paid the price for trying to walk that line. The WNBA upgrading Carter's foul shows they're trying to take player safety seriously. But then they turn around and fire a coach who was trying to handle the situation in-house.
Guys, her coach was fired late last night, broke the internet. We finna dive into it right point in my life. She was the only person that believed in me, the one that trusted me. Many don't even know what it's like to be black.
It sends a confusing message, doesn't it? Mixed messages are just the tip of the iceberg. The WNBA's problems run deep from the locker room to the stands. Players are sounding the alarm, but is anyone listening? The league is facing a crisis that's shaking it to its core. It's not just about one incident or one player anymore. We're talking about a culture that's putting everyone at risk, from the biggest stars to the rookies. Let's talk about what's really going on in the WNBA. Players are feeling unsafe, and it's not just because of what's happening on the court. The fans, the very people who should be supporting these athletes, are becoming a threat.
Dealing with the WNBA, I feel like they is not equipped for all of this stuff that is about to transpire in this league.
Can you believe that? The same people who cheer for their favorite players are now making them feel endangered. Think about it. If Caitlin Clark, one of the biggest names in the game, can be threatened by someone with media credentials, what does that mean for everyone else? It's not just about physical safety anymore. It's about creating an environment where players can focus on their game without worrying about what might happen off the court. And it's not just the players who are feeling the heat. Coaches are caught in the crossfire too. Remember Teresa Weatherspoon? She got fired right after defending her player. That's got to make other coaches think twice about speaking up. Is this the kind of culture we want in the WNBA? Players are speaking out, and what they're saying is heartbreaking. Angel Reese, one of the rising stars of the league, didn't hold back when she talked about Weatherspoon's firing. She said, "I'm heartbroken. I'm really lost for words, knowing what this woman meant to me in such a pivotal point in my life." Can you feel the emotion in those words? This isn't just about losing a coach, it's about losing a mentor, a role model. But it's not just about individual incidents. There's a bigger problem brewing in the stands. The toxic fan culture in the WNBA is getting out of control. Players like Brittany Griner and Angel Reese are calling for action. They want the league to do something about fans who cross the line.
Right, but yeah, just being swift with it, making a statement, making a stand.
Angel Reese put it plainly. Fans that come to games and they want to show out in the wrong way need to be removed. She's right. But is the league listening? Are they doing enough to protect their players? The WNBA's response to all this has been, well, let's just say it's been less than impressive. Players are calling for quicker action and stronger policies. They want to feel safe when they're doing their job. Is that too much to ask? Think about how this affects team morale. How can players give their all on the court when they're constantly looking over their shoulder? How can coaches build strong teams when they're afraid to stand up for their players? This isn't just about winning games anymore. It's about creating a league where everyone feels respected and protected. The WNBA is at a crossroads. They need to address these issues head-on if they want to grow and keep their stars safe. It's not just about making rules, it's about changing the culture. It's about sending a clear message that toxic behavior won't be tolerated, whether it's from fans, media, or anyone else. But here's the thing. Change isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take a real commitment from everyone involved. The league, the teams, the players, and yes, even the fans. We all have a role to play in making the WNBA a safer, more positive place. Alright, let's talk about what's next for women's basketball. The WNBA is in a tough spot right now. Players don't feel safe, fans are getting out of control, and the league's decisions are raising eyebrows. It's a mess, and something needs to change fast. But here's the thing, we can all help fix this. As fans, we've got a big role to play. We need to call out bad behavior when we see it, and support policies that protect players. Angel Reese said it best, fans who act out need to be removed. Period. The future of women's basketball is on the line here. We can't just sit back and watch it fall apart. It's time to step up and make our voices heard. Let's show the WNBA that we care about player safety and respect. Because if we don't, who will?